Hello, hello. Welcome. I'm sorry I'm running late tonight. Had this scheduled for 7:30. Here we are at 7:51 p.m. And that is just the nature of having a full-time job, I guess, right? When news breaks, I gotta work. So anyway, I'm glad I'm here. I'm glad you're here. I'm not so glad about the subject matter that we're going to be talking about tonight, and that is the brutal murder. Oh my goodness, of this young woman named Bethany Ann Israel. Bethany Ann Israel is this is a case that's kind of breaking news over the last day. It's been extremely difficult to watch some of the details that have come through, and I'm going to go through those with you. We have a couple of things in this case. We have a press release from the Dakota County, Minnesota Attorney's Office, the county attorney's office, and then we also have the criminal complaint. So we are going to do that. Before I really begin, though, holy cow, thank you so much to Terry for the $20 super chat. She says, I'm fairly new. I'm a true crime junkie and absolutely admire Gavin. I also joined the Fish Tank on Facebook. Love the channel. Well, thank you. That is very kind of you. I deeply appreciate that. Thank you for joining the Fish Tank. You know, over on the Fish Tank, guys, let me see. I need to come over here, get this open so my buttons work. Over on the Fish Tank, we got 1,000 people that have joined us over there, including Terry. Thank you very much. And then also Aries Dawn, a $50 super chat. I've been quietly watching this channel for some time now. Thanks for all you do. Appreciate the content. Great mods and subs here. Thank you very much. Wow, such generosity to start the live chat. I will not take this as a hint to start late. Okay, we're gonna try to be on time for everything that we do. Thank you. Okay, let's remember once again our victim here is Bethany Ann Israel. I want you guys to take a look down in the description below. There is a link to a GoFundMe, and that GoFundMe is for her husband. I've got a couple of pictures here with her husband Josh. In fact, when you look at her Facebook, her entire life seems to be her family, her husband, her parents, her brothers and sisters. It's a tragic, tragic tale. So let's head on over, shall we, to my Acrobat. And let's take a look first at this document. I have to say, the county of Dakota and the state of Minnesota makes it so easy to get our hands on criminal complaints, which I love because then I don't have to depend on another reporter's characterization of what the complaint says. We can just dig into it. Okay, so we've got state of Minnesota versus Jack Joseph Ball. Looks like he's about, 23 years old, just turned 23 about a month ago. The complainant submits this complaint. Who is our complainant? We'll find out. Okay. The complainant submits this complaint to the court and states that there is probable cause to believe defendant committed the following offenses. Charge number 1 is murder in the second degree with intent, not premeditated. Looks like we're facing up to 40 years in prison for this felony. Charge description: on or about May 23rd, 2024, in the county of Dakota, Minnesota, Jack Joseph Ball did cause the death of a human being with intent to effect the death of that person or another, but without premeditation, to wit, victim number 1. And I'm looking at count number 2, and I guess I'm just off my game here tonight, guys. Off my game. She was pregnant. She was in her second trimester in her pregnancy, if my math is correct. And you guys know that arithmetic is not my deal, but she was somewhere between 16 and 18 weeks pregnant. Thus, the second charge, murder in the second degree of an unborn child. also of up to 40-degree maximum sentence. And it says on or about May 23rd, 2024, in the county of Dakota, Minnesota, Jack Joseph Ball did cause the death of an unborn child with intent to effect the death of that unborn child or another, but without premeditation. And guys, Jack Ball, if I haven't mentioned this already, is Bethany Israel's brother. Now, I went to Facebook and I kind of cyber stalked him a little bit. We'll call it cyber sleuthing. But kind of cyber stalked them just a little bit. And it appears to me that Joseph Ball, and I don't know the family, I don't know this is just my opinion, may have some kind of special needs, some kind of learning disability or something like that. And that might be the reason why we're getting a murder 2 charge here rather than a murder 1 charge. But why don't we go ahead and go to the narrative and see what happened. Okay, here's the statement of probable cause. This happened 5 days ago. On May 23rd, 2024, shortly after 11 p.m., Lakeville police responded to a 911 call from a female, witness 1, to a residence in Lakeville, Dakota County, Minnesota. Witness 1 said she thought her daughter, Bethany Ann Israel, 9/11/93, so we're about, she's 30 years old, that Bethany Ann Israel had been killed inside. When officers arrived, witness 1 reported the following facts. Victim 1 went to the residence at approximately 6 p.m. that evening to have dinner with her brother, later identified as Jack Joseph Ball. Looks like, we've already established his age. Okay. Family had not heard from victim 1 and were concerned, so witness 2 drove to the residence to check on her. Upon arrival, she saw the defendant leaving the residence and described, quote, he just tore out of the house, close quote. Witness 1 entered the home and saw a substantial amount of blood and then called 911. Oh my goodness, I can't even imagine the position that this poor mother is in. And again, I've done some cyber sleuthing. I know her name, but I'm going to not bring that up because it's not public information. But to go to the home of your son and find that it appears that he may have murdered your daughter, that is extremely sad. It's horrifying. Officers entered the residence and observed a large pool of blood on the kitchen floor, under the sink, and on the sink cabinets. Additionally, they observed a bloody saw, hatchet, and large bloody knives. As they continued moving through the house, they saw a knife on the living room floor near the staircase that led to the second level. In continuing their search, they located several dismembered body parts believed to be those of victim 1. Witness 1, this is the mother, said that she believed that Jack Ball, her son, may have gone to a cemetery in Rosemount because relatives were buried there. Rosemount and Apple Valley police officers searched for Ball. Police received a 911 call from a residence in Rosemount reporting that a male was observed on their front door Ring camera, placing what appeared to be a body part on the front step. When officers responded to the Rosemount residence, they located a dismembered body believed to be that of Bethany. The responding officers observed defendant's car parked in a nearby driveway. Ball was located near a shed in the backyard of the residence at which his car was parked. He was covered in blood on his head, shirt, arms, legs, and pants. They also observed what appeared to be a self-inflicted knife wound across his throat. Defendant was able to communicate with officers and accurately told them the date, time, and name of the current president. I'm sure they were trying to figure out if he was in some kind of psychotic state, right? Upon searching the area, police found several dismembered body parts they believed to be those of Bethany. Oh my goodness. This is Bethany with her husband, Josh. Oh my goodness. This is absolutely terrifying. Investigators of the Lakeville Police Department learned in speaking with family that Bethany was pregnant with her first child. They are calling victim 2. Additionally, while investigating the crime scene, they discovered several journals and other handwritten paperwork belonging to Ball. In his writings, defendant wrote that he was angry with Bethany. He was angry that Bethany was pregnant and, quote, no longer innocent. An autopsy was performed by the Hennepin County Medical Examiner's Office. The medical examiner determined the manner of death of Bethany was a homicide and that she died as a result of complex homicidal violence. The medical examiner also confirmed that she was pregnant between 17 and 18 weeks with her unborn child. Oof. So the fact that we can see this, that he had journals and paperwork, to me, under normal circumstances, that would indicate some sort of premeditation to me, which is kind of why I think that maybe there is some sort of learning disability or some other mental illness that Mr. Ball might suffer from. I wanted to show you this. This is a printout of the press release or the news release that Dakota County Attorney Kathy Keena announced. And I'm just going to read a little bit of it because the rest of it is we just read that, but in the criminal complaint. Let me back this up just a little bit so you guys can see it. A little bit more, looks like. All right. Jack Joseph Ball, age 23, of Lakeville, was charged today with 2 counts of murder in the second degree in connection with the death of his 30-year-old sister, Bethany Ann Israel, and her unborn child, Dakota County Attorney Kathy Keena announced. And then it talks about basically what we just read in the criminal complaint. The ME's office determined the cause of death to be complex homicidal violence. I looked this up to see if there was some kind of definition of, what complex homicidal violence is legally speaking. I think we all understand what it is, but it really just means that there isn't one certain thing that they can point to that would have ended her life, like strangulation or sharp force trauma or blunt force trauma. They just can say there was a homicide, it was complex, and it was violent. That's really all that they can say. Bethany was between 17 and 18 weeks pregnant. Quote, the allegations in this case are deeply disturbing and horrific. Words can't describe what our law enforcement partners encountered during the investigation, said Ms. Keena. My office will work hard to ensure the victims receive justice and will provide necessary support for the victim's family. Mr. Ball appeared today in Dakota County District Court through video conferencing from the hospital. So he's either recovering from his physical injuries across his neck, or maybe he is confined under a mental health confinement. Bail was set in the amount of $2 million without conditions, $1 million with conditions by Judge Bryce Ehrman, After Mr. Ball is medically cleared, he will be transferred to the Dakota County Jail. His next court appearance is scheduled for June 10 at 1:30 p.m. in Hastings. Let me show you just one other thing, guys. I want to go over here because there is no obituary yet that I have been able to find. But I want to point out the GoFundMe account, and they've raised $30,000 to help with, the arrangements of interring her and so forth. $30,000 is a lot, but it's also, I hope you guys don't mind me saying this, it's not very much because of just what this young man, this young widower now will need to go through over the next little while, as he mourns and attempts to heal. But let me just read this. It is with profound sorrow that we announce the untimely departure of Bethany Israel, who left us on Thursday, May 23rd, 2024. Bethany was not only a cherished wife, daughter, sister, and an expectant mother, but was also a beloved figure in the volleyball community. And as I searched over Facebook and so forth, there were a lot of comments in memoriam to Bethany, and many of them talked about her volleyball, her love of volleyball, her talent. There was a lot about volleyball. She was active in that community. Bethany's radiant spirit and unwavering kindness touched the lives of all who had the privilege of knowing her. Her love for life, her family, and the friendship she nurtured are the legacies she leaves behind. As a beacon of warmth and generosity, Bethany's absence leaves a void that cannot be filled. In the wake of this immense loss, we are reminded of the financial hardships that often accompany such profound grief. To support Bethany's family during this challenging time, we are reaching out to the hearts and generosity of those around us. Your contributions will provide much needed relief to Bethany's loved ones as they navigate through this period of mourning and adjustment. Every act of kindness, no matter the size, will be a comforting reminder of the community's solidarity and compassion. Please hold Bethany's family in your thoughts and prayers as they endure this difficult journey. We are immensely grateful for the support that you can offer. Not only will this young man have to navigate his grief, but Bethany's siblings and parents, well, I think her dad has passed away, but her mother will have to deal with the grief of losing their daughter and sister and aunt, but also mourn and grieve that it was at the hand of her child or their brother, whoever it is, that it was Bethany's brother that did this. It is a tragic case. So I will put in my diary the June 10th hearing, and hopefully we can get a report on that because I'd like to keep a very, very close eye. Let's just see what you guys are saying over here real quick before we yeah, what a terrifying headline indeed. Let's see. Hey guys, I'm watching in Great Britain or the United Kingdom. Been checking if I got the timings right. Yeah, we'll you might have to catch up a little bit later, Beverly. Seems like a lot of ladies as victims lately. Yeah. And it's just odd, Holly. Typically I think this is considered domestic violence. I don't know. Is it considered? But, yeah, you expect this from angry boyfriends or husbands or partners or whomever, but not from, a sibling. Just sad. Liv, this is from last Thursday. We're less than a week. It is crazy. And I know that you guys have most of these comments are before I even hopped on. Thanks, guys. Autumn, thank you very much for the super chat. Thank you very much. Tabitha says, Gavin, are you coming to CrimeCon? Gavin is not going to CrimeCon, but I am going to CrimeCon UK. If you head over to my website and click on events, you will see a couple of events coming up. First one is True Crime Fest Northwest Arkansas. I'm actually slated to be a speaker at True Crime Fest. That is the 2nd and 3rd of August, and it is in Fayetteville, Arkansas. And then I will be in London the following month. I'm actually going to be taking one of our daughters with us, our middle daughter, which she is, also middle child, with me to London, as she has not been overseas, and it's going to be fun. I love CrimeCon UK so much, I choose to go to that rather than going to CrimeCon. I'm kind of a small event person, and CrimeCon UK is a little smaller. If you are going to CrimeCon UK, if you use Fish at checkout, you can save yourself 10%, which is more than a few dollars. So thank you for that question. Let's see. Maureen says, other than obvious mental health issues, I can't help but wonder if he had some sort of weird crush on his sister. This case is just sick. Yeah. Poor, yeah, I mean, maybe there is something like that, some type of fixation. Let's see. Yeah, I'm not sure about this one. This is one of those where it's gray area for me, Joan. I mean, obviously, there's no restitution that can be made on this. Her life is gone. The life of the baby is gone. I'm just wondering what kind of mental disease we're talking about here. And now that I think about it, maybe I'm coming more to your side there, Joan. Maybe even if there is some mental illness there, some weird fixation, something like that, it still probably would be best for a person like that to keep the public safe and other people safe, for them to be in the rest of their lives. That is true. Look at Jamie. I've got the best mods, everybody. I've got the best mods. She is answering questions long before I even get to them because she's a pro. Let's see. Liv asks, how is there no premeditation when he did it because she's not innocent anymore? There's thought behind that. Yeah, that is why I'm kind of leaning toward he couldn't make a rational thought, maybe. I mean, maybe I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt too much here. Oh man, it just breaks my heart. Like, to have two of your children, it looks like to me they have a big family, like 6 or 7 kids. And to have 2 of them, to have one lost at the other's hand, that is heartbreaking. Heartbreaking. Jess says, probably not going to stay for this one. I'm already paranoid. Just wanted to say hi. Thank you, Jess, for dropping in. See if there's a couple more that I can squeeze in here. The mother may have found a body part. Yeah. Yeah. Ooh, Liv, Liv, I am so sorry. This hits too close to home. I'm a survivor of an assault. A DA was also in my 2nd trimester when it happened back in 2018. Oh, Liv, I am sorry. Wow. Yeah, they do. They do, Liv. They deserve justice and a voice. Okay, let's see if there are a couple of others here. Aries, yeah, it must be so very difficult for this family. Maureen, I've been watching this case and reading everything I can find out. I don't understand why it was first degree. Yeah, I wonder if that. Um, I wonder. I don't know. And Elaine, I don't know what their religious beliefs are, but I, I mean, there are stereotypes about Minnesota, right? So this is kind of the Bible Belt. Lots of Lutheranism and so forth up there in Minnesota, which is terrific. Lots of different Christian denominations. I would imagine by looking at the photos of this family, they were active in a religious practice. It appeared to me, but I can't imagine any. At least any, I can't think of any religious denomination that would be upset about a pregnancy within marriage, within a traditional nuclear family. If he was thinking the way that you're thinking there, Elaine, then I think it's got to be some kind of twisted version of that, right? Which is probably what you're saying anyway. Let's see. Yeah, Maureen says a lot of women and children lately. Yeah, you guys know, if you go to my website, one of the cases that I am covering in my day job is this one, the case of Rebecca Byler, the pregnant Amish mother of two who was murdered just this past February. I've actually got a hearing on that coming up in about, what is that, 8 days. Yeah, that when it's an unborn victim too, it's just especially hard. Yeah. Honorable Audio. He's got serious mental health issues. I mean, that is serious. Yeah. Yep. Wishful thinking. GF, he was delivering body parts to others. How was he related to folks near the building he was found in? Yeah, I wonder if they're related somehow. But that is kind of odd to be dismembering anybody, but dismembering your sister and then putting them on the porches of people in the neighborhood. Juju positive, not sure why that disappeared. Is it unusual for a guy to journal his thoughts? I don't think so. I mean, I keep a pretty, not super detailed journal. Kind of, I think that's kind of a normal kind of self-care kind of thing to keep a journal. Of course, if you're journaling about being upset and then you perpetrate murder, that is unusual for sure. Yeah, and Cher wonders about schizophrenia, and Honorable Audio says, yeah, it speaks to his mental instability for sure. Nancy says she likes my stained glass. Where did I buy it? Nancy, I bought this stained glass when I bought my 120-year-old house. It is chock full of it. And if you want to see more of it, head on over to the fish tank. I've posted some photos of my office and photos of the other glass throughout the house. But we happen to live in a town and in an area here in Western Pennsylvania where there was the oil boom, which meant that there were a lot of homes that were built in excess of what was needed. Our house, which is like, it's well over 8,000 square feet, was built for two people. So there are a lot of homes like ours with a lot of fun old Tiffany and Company glass and other really fun stuff. So yeah, what you're seeing there is a late 1800s Tiffany and Company stained glass window. And go over to the fish tank and check through the photos. In fact, I bet I can find one pretty easy. It wouldn't be too far back. My goodness, maybe it is too far back. It's in there somewhere. I don't know. Anyway, go over to the fish tank and you will see more of our stained glass. Pretty fun. Okay. Honorable Audio does custom stained glass work. Awesome. Yeah. We've got some cool stained glass in our town. Last comment, I think I'll go wishful. So much mental health weird issues these days. I think serious issues have a lot of folks desensitized to the red flags. Yeah, it's possible. I think also, I mean, and I'm not advocating for one way or the other, but I also think that maybe, well, here's my metaphor for the way society works, okay? We as a society are driving down the highway and we are veering back and forth. I was going to say left and right, but it's not political. We're just veering back and forth, right? And as we veer too far one way, we hit a guide rail, and as we veer, and so we go back the other way until we hit the guardrail, right? So we've got a really crushed up, wrecked car, but we're going down that highway, and I honestly think that we have overcorrected from the horrific way that we treated people with mental illness in the 20th century to trying to be compassionate and sympathetic and empathetic. But I think we've maybe veered a little too far at the risk of danger to society. So we're going to have to find our way. And I know that that's talking about macro problems. And this family is talking about a very specific, they're experiencing a very specific microcosm of that problem. And that is deeply sad to me for them. I mean, look, that is a beautiful photo of a beautiful couple just starting their family on their way to growing it and hopefully finding happiness with their children, which a lot of us do. I think most of us do. So yeah, I think it's sad, and we will continue to cover this. Guys, thanks so much for joining me tonight. This is a little bit of a short one for me, but I think we've covered everything we need to cover. Please always head on over to the fish. Well, first off, head on over to gavinfish.com. You can always contact me there. Also, you can support my work and the work of my mods by going to this page, clicking on this button, and buying my mods a cup of coffee, which would be awesome. And then you can always contact me here as well. And then if you're on Facebook, please join us over there on the Fish Tank. Just search Gavin Fish True Crime. You'll find it. All right. With that, once again, thank you for being here. I bid you adieu for the night, and I will see you on the next one. Take care. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you liked what you saw, please consider subscribing. And if you have any questions or comments, please leave them below.